Hey everyone, we're finally back. Sorry it took me so long to get to making this video. I had some things going on. But now we are going to get into part 2 of soloing with the Bebop Rudiments. Also, before we start, I want to mention that between the last video and this one, I hit 100 subscribers, which is kind of cool. I don't really care about the numbers too much. But I do care about getting these videos out and educating people. And I also care about interfacing with other people's ideas. So, I'm glad that there are people out there who find this stuff enjoyable, and I hope to hear all of your thoughts. So, if you know anybody who's aspiring to learn theory or learn about improvisation, or just has a general interest in music, share my channel with them. I'd love to hear their perspectives. So in the last video, we started learning a solo by dissecting it into pieces that I call the Bebop Rudiments. So to recap, the solo is 2 choruses of a blues in the key of 1 flat. We learned the first chorus in that last video, which I'll play so you can hear where we left off. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Alright, now let's just quickly have a listen to what the new chorus is going to sound like that we're about to learn. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's take that first line, which starts on the end of 2, like this. 1, 2. So it's like I'm playing up a Do Mixolydian scale in skips. But I'm approaching each time. Approach Do, skip, approach Re, skip, approach Mi, skip, approach Fa, etc. So I do that all the way up till I get to Re in the next octave. Then I do one more, but instead of approach skipping to Mi, I hit Me, because of where we're going next. From Me, I do a flutter skip to surround Do. So once we land on that Do, we have to do a crosshatch. Now, if you don't remember what crosshatching is, it's when you crisscross 2 notes that are not together, not next to each other in this scale. And if you don't remember what crisscrossing is, then you should probably go back and watch that original Bebop Rudiments video, because there's a lot of good stuff in there. We'll cover it quickly here, but after you get done watching this, make sure to go give that a rewatch. So crisscrossing is when you approach one note and fall onto the note in the scale above that one. Or vice versa. Fall onto a note and approach the one below the one you fell onto. So crosshatching would be doing that with 2 notes that are not next to each other in this scale, like Do and Mi, for example. Approaching Do, falling onto Mi. Anyway, that's what we're gonna do. After we hit Do, we are crosshatching Fa and La by playing Mi, Fa, Te, So those are our two sort of target notes. Fa, la. So here's what all that sounds like together. 1, 2. Alright, from that point, I'm going to do an alley-oop starting on do. So that's 3 notes. Skip to so, and then approach fa. Again, that's 3 notes. Do, re, mi, skip to so, approach fa. So all of that could be described as an alley-oop to fa, since that's our target note. So we had cross hatch, alley-oop to fa, start another lob, and then fall. Right now you can probably see that these lines are getting a little bit more involved and using more rudiments. So if you're having trouble following along with the terminology, that's okay. I don't necessarily like some of the terms myself, but it's worth knowing the concepts at least, what the actual rudimental shapes are. So if you need to go back and watch that original rudiments video, by all means, feel free to do that because we're going to keep moving along. 1, 2. Okay, so that's where we stopped. 2, 3. From that phrase, we did our alley-oop, and then fa starts another lob, and then I hit this last note. So on this chord, I'm basically thinking like I turned the chord minor, and then I fall onto the note of the next chord, which is re in this case. So when we fall onto that re, we come down a triad. Re, ti, so, and I'm going to hit the octave above so, and come down the triad again. Okay? Then I'm just thinking that I'm going to take that chord a half step down, but falling onto that first figure. So we have fall, triad, and then fall again. And then we're going to do another fall. Now I actually went over that exact phrase in a previous video about how to take things that you transcribe and make them your own. So if you haven't seen that one, that'd be another good video to check out. Alright, let's hear what we just went over. Now the next phrase starts on re. And we'll do what I'm going to describe as a crank, using la as my pedal note to crank down to ti. That sounds like this. So re just going back chromatically to ti, but with la to crank it down. But while I do that, I'm actually inserting more rudiments. So I do a flutter, and then instead of just hitting ti, I'm actually going to passing tone up to ti. After that, we're going to come down 3 notes in the key a half step above our home key. So instead of mi, re, do, in our home key, we're going to go, and then we're going to fall onto do. So those two phrases are this. And once we land on do, that starts another lob. And then we're going to fall onto la. That lob, da 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 da, ti la, with the fall, okay? And now I'll take that shape and play almost the same thing sequenced down. So we go up 4 notes from la, and fall onto so from a half step above. The reason for that half step above so is because I'm thinking the sixth diminished scale, so that note becomes a part of the phrase. Okay, so here are those last two phrases. Then from there I fall onto me. But kind of sliding into me to make it like more saucy. Okay, now the very last figure. Mi so mi ti la. That phrase is something I happened to come across playing the modes of sixth diminished, or the modes of the major bebop scale, however you want to think about it. So what I mean by the modes of sixth diminished is just taking all the different 4-note configurations and sequencing them across the scale. So while I was practicing the modes of sixth diminished and seeing that phrase come up, I was kind of surprised because I've heard that played, but I guess for whatever reason it surprised me that it came up while I was practicing sixth diminished stuff. So that kind of makes me wonder what other revelations will happen upon me while practicing sixth diminished scale stuff and the figures and its modes, which I would like to make a video about at some point. Someone left a comment on a previous video saying I should make one, so maybe I will. Anyway, we finished covering the solo. I'll play it again so that we can hear the end result of all the stuff that we've worked on connected. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's all I got for now. I hope you learned a lot. Go work on these lines and make your own lines. This was meant to really just be an example of how you can build phrases that sound like bebop using these rudiments. So I encourage you to do this process yourself. Try to come up with a chorus of blues or rhythm changes or any standard that you like, really. And don't forget to watch some of those other videos that I mentioned, and I will see you in the next one.